Good day, and welcome back to the channel. I am your host for the day, Bragi.
And I am Egil Thorsson.
Now, today we are here to talk about how to do funny voices with Egil Thorsson, the master of funny voices on this channel. And what we get out of this video, well, Egil is going to tell you how he does his voices, so you can learn how to do your own voices. And he's going to tell you about where he gets his voices from and how you can find inspiration for funny voices if you want to do that in your videos. So, over to Egil. Hello.
Hi. You're asking me how do I do funny voices? Well, I could be obtuse and say, well, it's like playing a flute. You blew down here and you move your fingers up and down. It's just a knack that I've acquired. I have had influences. The Goons, obviously, with their voices, they resonate with me, and also the late Dennis Potter.
I remember him, yes.
Yeah, when I was at school, years before I saw any of his plays, you were watching his plays and people suddenly get up and start singing and dancing, doing odd things. Well, I have difficulty in dealing with pomposity. You don't get much more pompous than our teachers were, different age. And I used to get by it by imagining them suddenly bursting into song and dancing about. And I sort of planted the seed. But voices themselves, some people have voices that you can imitate. I know the story behind the voice of Blue Bottle.
Yes.
Apparently there was a scoutmaster, I think he was.
Yes, I think there was.
Who saw Peter Sellers on, that was very good, yes. And it stuck with him, it resonated and used it. The voice of Eccles is sort of like the typical British soldier of that time.
Now, to explain the Goon Show very quickly for the folks that have never heard of the Goon Show.
Well, for those of you who haven't heard of it, welcome to the planet Earth.
And we are planning to do a video on the Goon Show, so watch out for that.
Back just after the war, there were a collection of people, Harry Seacombe, Spike Milligan, Michael Benteen, Peter Sellers, and they had a very sort of bizarre sense of humour. Some would say it was a result of World War II. And they ended up forming a show that at the time was very groundbreaking called The Goons. And Spike Milligan wrote the scripts, most of them. Eric Sykes helped out occasionally. And it was a story that was split in the middle. They had a break where the Max Galdry would have a song, because Spike Milligan.
But music was an important aspect of that show.
Well, Spike Milligan also earned his living for a time playing jazz, and
well, wasn't aware of that.
Oh yeah, he was in the army after he'd been shell shocked. He was in, I suppose it was Ensa. And he would go around and there was a trio that used to play, and he got his commission that way. And then he met Harry Seacombe, who did a scene on shaving. And then Peter Sellers came into the picture. Spike Milligan and Peter Sellers had this sort of love-hate relationship. Michael Benteen, again, was a great innovator, but I don't know, he left. And had his own series on television called Potty Time. But these voices were people you had Major Bloodnut, yes, typical Army Indian Army officer. You had Moriarty, money, Spike Milligan, and Grip Pipe Thane, who was very smooth but very, very dangerous. Neddy Seagoon, who I can't do. Eccles, one of my favourite people, and his favourite line is, Eccles suddenly appears from there and says, "What are you doing here, Eccles?" And his line is, "Well, everybody got to be somewhere."
Oh yeah.
That's a brilliant line. But
so how did you teach yourself to do those voices?
They just come to me. I can't honestly say I sat down and went, "This is how blue bottles." Hey, you run like you. I'd heard other people do it, including Prince Charles. Well done, sir.
Yes, he did a little video, didn't he, on that? It was on a aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
And that's very funny. He does them very well, actually.
Yeah. Well, he was actually big friends with Spike Milligan. Spike Milligan was a very complex character.
Well, let's just go back to the voices. We're covering the going to another show.
But the voices.
Yeah.
Right, you want the voices.
Yeah, that's what the fundamental of the video is about. So.
I don't just do the goons' voices.
The goons are a massive influence.
It's also people. In the stories we've done, I've done my brother, Jonathan, and there are people I've heard who I don't know. And I must admit, when I was a student, my good friend Claire, okay Claire, if you're out there, we used to go to the cafes and people watch for their mannerisms and things like that, and construct an idea with them. But I would also, in my own head, construct, what do they sound like? And it's weird, the things that, we had one guy, he looked like a biker, but there was something wrong with him. And I racked my brains, so did Claire, and we came out with the name Crispin Mumby. And you know what it was? He got a crease in his jeans. That one thing. And it took us weeks to do it. I drank so much coffee that time. But it's where you fit people together. And certain things, certain speech patterns. It's like Michael Caine, I should think, has never in his life said, "Did you know?" I can't do a very good Michael Caine.
My name is Michael Caine. Yeah. I can't do accent because all mine sound like I'm from Derbyshire. Oh. Now, when you do an accent, when you do a voice in your mind, what does it sound like in your brain? Because that's the bit I struggle with.
Well, actually, you came across a point there which was relevant to me. You said it all sounds Derbyshire. Well, I was born in Kent, very middle class, and that's
down south in England.
Yeah, and I had to come from Kent to Waingroves, which is the Midlands, which was an ex-mining community. And if you go around speaking like that, you're going to get filled in, you know. So I had to learn.
Very posh.
I had to learn about Derbyshire and how they speak, to say. Otherwise, I'd have got. And that's where I first learned. It was a survival technique, and I also had to remember to switch back to Southern speak with my parents. Now, if you get me slightly tipsy, the Southern accent comes out very strongly.
Well, one day on camera we'll do that.
You beast, Brandy.
Well, I'm thinking that mead I've got is 43 years old now.
Yeah.
So
it's old enough to know better. But
it's very funny when he's drunk.
Its inspiration comes from. It's like when you're an author, you take it and you twist it to your own. A lot of impersonators, they come out with a phrase which the person they're imitating probably never says, but it gets all the inflections right. And here's something: if you could do one voice, you could do two. Of
course so.
It's just one of those weird things.
But not just voices, it's also accents, like the Birmingham accent.
Yeah.
There are you from Birmingham?
Yeah. What you want is a good South African accent.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That's a very thick accent.
But you have to know. You have to understand what the speech patterns are and the phrases. You don't say, "Hello dear, would you come in? Hey girlie, over here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you do a voice, do you in a kind of way become that person?
Yeah. For a brief spell.
And that kind of help. Yeah. It's an old technique called croaking from shamanism, where you would learn to become that person or that animal.
It's even better. I mean, I remember I was working at Jorvik once, and there was a woman from Glasgow, and I said, "Hey, right there, hon. Huh? What part of Scotland are you from then?" He said, "What part of Scotland are you from?" I said, "Well, actually, Rochester." So how do you do that? I said, "I'm an actor, it's my job." But Scottish accents, you've got them like that. Or you can have people, as Stephen Fry says, "How could I be Scottish with an accent like that?" They're all called Fraser and people like that. They got another one where it's, they're on things together, like, you know, you can't understand them well that well. And they talk very quickly about that, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's like that old Scottish phrase. Well, you might not be one, will it, there, will you?
There is an old Scottish phrase, which is based in Old Norse. Many a mickle makes a muckle.
Oh yes, I've heard that before.
Now, mickle means large.
Big, yes.
And the Scottish version of that is muckle.
Oh, right.
Many a big makes a big, which then makes sense.
Of course, we've got the famous saying of muggle, but that's another subject.
Was that Harry Potter?
Yes, it is indeed.
I've never read Harry Potter.
No.
It's
but I often think, I was just thinking this the other day, you know, like you got the guy who created Game of Thrones, and you know, you got the lady who created, I do know the names, George R. R. Martin. But are they the new Tolkien? But that's another side aspect.
I remember talking about Game of Thrones. I was talking with an Eastern European bloke, and I said, you know, we're talking in general. I said, what's your favourite film? Game of Thrones. What? Game of Thrones. And it meant Game of Thrones, but it was all... And those are the sort of things that you pick up on. People...
Of course so.
Yeah. I mean, Game of Thrones sounds like he should be some... I don't know.
So
Eastern
if you're
European
going to
person.
give over to end this video a few tips on how to do voices, one of them would be listen to people.
Listen to other people, and also don't mock. Take it and make it your own, and practice.
I mean, also with technology these days, it's a lot easier because you can record your voice and listen to your voice and improve it.
Well,
I guess
a lot of fun is going to a coffee shop, preferably on the outside. Sit there with your coffee and listen to what people are saying, you know, and you can pick up nuances. Some people could do accents easily. The accents I can't do is the Portsmouth one, and that's like a mix between...
Pompeii, they call it in Portsmouth.
Yeah. I had a mate in the TA, and his accent, it was nice. And Yorkshire's another one.
Remember, Alfie, he was from Portsmouth.
Oh, right.
Remember Alfie? What a character he was.
Putty.
I'm 56, I am. No, that was Midland.
Oh, right. Oh, I was 56. Yeah, I happened to be older than him at the time.
That was Alfie. He just told people his age. That's irrelevant for this video.
Yeah.
So,
But as I say, I mean, practice them on your own. And try not to mock people, because there's enough grief in the world. You don't need to do that.
have fun with the voices.
Yeah, and this is what I do. You have fun. People have ways of phrasing, pronunciation, and things like that.
But also body language, I guess, is another aspect of it.
It depends. I mean, if you're just doing a sound recording, that doesn't matter. But if it helps you, do it.
Because when I was telling the tale the other day, the three pigs, when I became the wolf, I kind of changed my body shape, and that kind of helped to put more of a wolf voice on.
That probably supports the shamanism
aspect again,
because shaman shape shifting, things like that.
But it also makes you think: how long have people been doing body voices? Is it a very old thing? I expect it is.
Well, one thing I do remember was we're going back to the times of the prophets in Jerusalem, and this guy was doing a ventriloquist.
Oh yes.
And he was decried because it was considered evil.
Well, that's a Roman thing, that is.
Yeah. So it goes all the way back to there at least, and I can guarantee you somebody sitting around the house after being told off by their chief.
Have you ever thought about doing that? Perhaps we'll get you a puppet Egil. Hello, I'm Egil the puppet.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It's
son.
a puppet.
There you go, son. And these things like it's very subtle. Some of the differences. I mean, people all say they do Birmingham, and it sounds like they come from the Punjab when they've done
Birmingham.
Yeah, and vice versa.
I love the Birmingham accent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love the West Country one. With them all talking like that.
Oh yeah, that's another great one.
Yeah, but that's the best place is go to the place you're trying to impersonate. Go, say if you want to do West Country, get yourself down to Devon. If you want to do Yorkshire, go out round York and Yorkshire. Then you pick it up, and there's certain phrases like, "You're right." Say, "I've been waiting here 10 minutes." If you go to York, it's "I've been here a while, 10 minutes," and it's just a phrase they use. And
or it's like us, we often say at the end of our sentences, like, don't we? You know what I mean, like.
Well, it's also, and this happened to me I was doing a show in Lancashire, and we had somebody with us, and she asked for a cob. In Derbyshire, if you ask for a cob, it's a roll.
Yes, yeah.
If you ask for a cob in Lancashire, you get a horse.
Bacon cob.
But it's either a roll or a batch.
Well, if you're posh, it's a sandwich, surely.
Well, sandwich is different. That's bread, not a roll. But
Oh, there you go.
and I drew a picture of a big roll with a dead horse on it.
Well, one
didn't
day
get that
we'll do that video talking about Anglo-Saxon bread.
But again, it's people's idioms and phrases. It's like in York, alleyways are called ginnels.
A jitty.
Yeah, they call them a jitty over in Derbyshire.
Yeah.
Old Derbyshire, when you're walking on the pavement, you're walking on the coursey.
Yeah. No, I remember that one. Yeah.
And they,
Jitty's always intrigued me, that word.
and also bosses of mesters, and they are still in the back streets of Sheffield, the little mesters, people who are making knives and cutlery and various other bits. So there's that aspect to it, and it's almost subconscious with me that I'll go somewhere and I'll be talking, say, to Bragi, but I'm also listening out to other people. And I think it's something I picked up from my parents, because when we used to go out to eat at restaurants, they loved to hear other people's conversations. And I sort of got tuned into that.
Well, yet again, that's another old thing. Haven't people been doing that eavesdropping for a long time?
And it's not because I want to know what they're talking about, although that was quite interesting in itself. It's the way they said it.
I mean, who invented noisiness?
Yeah.
You know, that's another old thing.
Well, eavesdropping comes from, if you go to the remains of Westminster Hall,
Yes.
up in the
eaves.
eaves, there are faces,
Yes.
and they were called eavesdroppers. And it's basically Henry VIII saying, "It doesn't matter what you say, I'll find out."
Well, that's another of the 16th century terms. Yes.
But anyway, as I say,
Well, I hope that's been useful.
yeah.
Hopefully you got something out of that video on how to do voices. Before we finish this video, which I'll have Egil do the outro bit doing the voices of Rainbow, but get ready for that.
Oh.
We'll just teach you something of how to say hello in Derbyshire.
Okay.
So how would you say hello in Derbyshire?
Hey up, my duck.
Hey up, me duck.
And I could do your sentence if you like.
Go on.
I'm coming down course, you just say, mind me own business. Just,
Aye.
And I seen, alright, don't rude. Hey, only sneak me auntie.
Aye, youth.
Ah.
Ah,
So I thought, oh, women and fowls. I went on my road.
cool,
didn't
blimey,
I?
governor.
Well, sneaping is a word meaning to disregard and look away. So if I talk to Bragi and he just ignores me.
Well, we take these words for granted.
Coursey, pavement, and it's artery. Surrey is you don't hear it so much now, but it's "Are you all right, sir?"
Yes, you don't hear that often at all.
No. And it's
Very old
it
saying.
hangs out in the mining communities. And my brother-in-law, hi mate, is a miner, was a miner, and the miners talk.
Oh, of course so, yeah.
And I love it because it shows an individuality. We're in an era now where everybody has this bland, grey accent. It's neither one thing or the other. And you can't say this, you can't say that. You go to a miner's village and you hear broad mine. It's like rain on a hot day. It's beautiful. That's just me. I've done writing, and it's all written in Derbyshire vernacular for that very reason. And it's the generation on from me, they don't have miners talk because the mines are closed. And it's like they said, when you close a mine, you close a village. And that's never been true words spoken. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough.
Oh, yes. So if you want to say hello in Derbyshire, it's hey up, me duck.
And if you want to say goodbye, say they duck.
All right.
They always call people duck, women duck. If you go
Yes.
to Nottingham, they call men duck as well. Say it in Derbyshire, you get your head kicked in.
Although sometimes my dad says hey up, sausage. But
Yeah.
that's another story. What should I do, Egil? If you like the video, give it a like.
If you like the video, right, I want you to press the bell in the corner there and
Well, let us know. But if you want to leave a comment, just leave us a comment because we'll get back to you free every time. Yeah, that's right. I do that.
Poor Bungle, don't get a look in.
I don't like Bungle.
Bye, folks.
Bye. Goodbye. Bye. I think I've sat on my lunch.